I've been researching the trucking industry for the past 2 years.
Just like that, 2 years passed for me. Like, it's crazy. Every time I try to sit here and think, like, how the hell did 2 years pass by this fast? I just can't even remember. I have certain moments that I remember along the way, but I can't pinpoint month by month what I was doing.
What's going on, Grandma family? It's your man, Grandma J.
Coming at y'all with this video. What's going on, YouTube? It's your man, Grandma J here, coming at y'all with this video right quick. Excuse the messiness. I am in my storage room, so everything is kind of thrown around everywhere, so forgive me on that one. But today is October 15th, 2019, and I'm excited to say that I passed my tanker and HAZMAT endorsement test. I went and took them at the DMV today. It was pretty easy. I used Truck and Truth's website to study for both tests. I read both sections in the manual, and I took those practice tests on Truck and Truth. It's a really good resource. I'm gonna go ahead and link it down below for y'all. Truck and Truth has 14 practice test questions for HAZMAT and not 14 questions, but 14 pages worth of practice questions. I believe it's like 8 questions per page or something like that, but it's a really good resource, so it's worth your time. I promise you. And they have 3 pages worth of, I believe, I don't know how many questions it is exactly, but 3 pages worth of questions for doubles and triples. The test was 30 questions HAZMAT, and you had to get 24 out of 30 right, and the test was 20 questions for doubles and triples, and you had to get 16 out of 20 correct. I used Kevo's tips where he said if you didn't know the answer, just skip it, and if you come back to it, then you guess. But I got 1 wrong on each test, and I skipped a total of 2 questions on a HAZMAT, and I skipped 1 question on doubles and triples. But I definitely recommend using Truck and Truth's practice test 100%. It was maybe two questions on both tests that I didn't recognize, but some of those questions you could definitely use common sense. But it was easy. For the HAZMAT, I had here in Philly, I had to pay $36.50 to take the HAZMAT and doubles and triples exams. Once I finished that, I had to pay them $34 for my security threat assessment. I submitted that into them. They gave me a fingerprint card, and I scheduled an appointment with the fingerprint card people, and I have to pay them $22.75 for my fingerprints. And then once that's done, everything else is out of my hands. I just have to wait for TSA to do the clearance. My background is pretty clean, so it shouldn't take too long to come back, but they do say allow up to 120 days. But I'm just super excited to know that I passed those tests. Like I said, the questions were almost identical to what Truck and Truth had up there. Maybe a few rewordings, but definitely a good resource. And also, another thing I want to add is the importance of knowing self-worth. Right now, I'm just trying to figure out how much I'm willing to settle for, being as though I'm coming up on my 2 years exact mark. October 19th, 2019 will be my exact 2 years of having my CDL. So I'm definitely trying to come up with what I'm willing to settle for. I'll give y'all more updates on what's going on with the other company once I find time and have more storage on my phone. But for the most part, it's very important to know self-worth, know what you're willing to settle for, and don't allow other people to tell you what you should or shouldn't settle for, because a lot of people like to force them being content on you. And because they're content doesn't mean that just because this person has 2 years and they're willing to settle for this amount or this job, doesn't mean that you have to settle for that, and don't allow for them to tell you that you have to settle for that. And I'll explain later why I say that, but definitely no self-worth. Go after those endorsements, because once February 2020 hits, you will have to go to school for school bus, HAZMAT, and passenger endorsements to be added to your license. So if you haven't got those endorsements yet, go ahead and get them if you have any desire. I know I said I didn't have a desire to get HAZMAT because I was nervous about all the HAZMAT, but I definitely feel like it is a good endorsement to have, and I don't want to have to go through schooling to get that once February 2020 hits. So I just hopped on that. Go ahead and hop on that, y'all. And I'll see y'all later. Become Grandma certified by hitting the bell. Join the Grandma family by subscribing. Grandma J about it.
Went from wishing and wanting to go and making it happen. Was sick of saying the shit. I wasn't making it happen. I used to be the quiet when they told me open up more. Probably not stepping too right.